Seth joining Solo's bloodline.
Dakota Kai is back.
And Big Jim speaks to Big Breaker. Hello, welcome to Wrestle MSX. I'm Michael.
I'm Sally.
And Gunther kicked us off by saying he's still World Heavyweight Champion and that he doesn't live in the past. He said there's a lot of things he could say about Damian Priest when the former Judgement Day leader's music hits and he heads to the ring. As Gunther was about to trash talk Priest interrupted him saying, "I know what you're going to say. You're going to call me a bum, street trash and a thug. But I think your vibe is starting to fade, and he's doing so even more after Saudi Arabia and your loss to Cody Rhodes." Priest followed up by claiming Gunther was full of doubt and that he knows he can't beat him. Priest even goading Gunther into hitting him, which he didn't. Ludwig Kaiser then stepped out. Kaiser said that Gunther had already beaten him once and will do it again. And now in the ring, Kaiser continued, saying that Priest wasn't even worthy. Gunther at this point covered Kaiser's mic with his hand and the two seemed to have a disagreement. Kaiser pulled away, saying he wasn't going to let this street trash talk to him, but never finished as Priest punched him and sent him over the top rope. Gunther shook his head, wanting none of it, and left the ring. Don't forget to give us a subscribe while you're here. Thank you.
Kathy Kelly backstage congratulated Io Sky on becoming Liv Morgan's #1 contender, with Sky saying she's ready for her. Dakota Kai then appeared and gave her fellow Damage Control members a hug. Kai said she's rather annoyed with Pure Fusion Collective as they took 3 months off her career. The three of them then head out to the ring as they face off against Pure Fusion's Baszler, DeVille and Stark in a 6-woman tag.
When we come back from the break, we see Kofi Kingston thanking R-Truth for helping against Final Testament a few weeks ago, and then apologised for not having his back in the aftermath. Xavier Woods then appeared in the background. Kingston continued saying that for some strange reason, Woods didn't want to get involved. Woods then stepped forward, asking what they were talking about. Kofi was about to explain when Pete Dunne interrupted, complaining to Truth about him getting his name wrong. Kingston asked Dunne what the issue was. Dunne asked Kingston if he wanted to make this his problem, to which Woods interrupted and said no. Dunne asked Kofi if Woods speaks for him now, to which Kofi replied, no he does not. Dunne and Kingston then organised a match for later. Truth wishing Kofi luck with Pete and then telling him it's Butch he's got to worry about.
Back to the ring, Pure Fusion Collective versus Damage Control. It was an entertaining start from Stark and Sky, with Stark overpowering Sky and then tagging in DeVille, with the two Fusion members hitting Sky with a double team move. Stark then left the ring with Sky able to tag Insane and the two of them then double drop kicking DeVille. It didn't take long for the ref to be distracted, with Baszler pulling Insane out of the ring and levelling her as we headed to a break. When we come back from the break, Dakota Kai is beating up Baszler and really going to town on her and even getting a 2 count. Baszler then locks in a half Boston Crab, which Sane breaks up. Each woman then comes in, clearing out the previous one until we're left with Kai and Baszler. The two grapple with Sky tagging in, hitting over the moonsault and pinning Baszler for the win. I wouldn't say it was sloppy, but in places it was sloppy. I know it's Dakota's first time back, so I'm going to give her a little pass there.
Oh, that's very nice of you. Backstage we have Jimmy, Jay and Sami Uso saying that they need a 5th member for War Games, when Sami says he thinks he might know someone.
Ooh.
Well, it can't be Kevin Owens because we were discussing this, can it? I mean, it would make sense,
yep.
But he's in trouble with the Authority. And it won't be Orton as he's injured. He's having some time off. He's having Christmas off. So unless it's Cody Rhodes, then I have no idea. No. But I did have an idea. Oh. What about Bron Breakker after his stare-off with Jacob a few weeks ago? If you have any ideas, please don't be afraid to leave a comment below and we'll get back to you. And on that thought though, who are Bloodline 2.0 going to ask? Because we've all had a thought, and we thought it was going to be 4-on-4,
yeah,
but now they've thrown out this 5th member, it's leaving us kind of guessing. Again, if you have any idea who the 5th member of Bloodline 2.0 could be, let us know, because
we have no idea.
There's nobody they can ask, is there?
Unless they're bringing someone in, but...
Yeah, probably. Another long-lost cousin.
Yeah. Up next, Kofi Kingston versus Pete Dunne. Woods accompanying Kingston, naturally. The crowd chant Butch as the match begins, and we have a test of strength, with Kofi then drop-kicking Dunn out of the ring. Kingston follows this up with a somersault over the top rope, damaging Dunn even further before we head to the break. We come back from the break to see Dunn manipulating Kingston's joints and chopping him down to the mat. Kingston fights back with a frog splash, which only gets a 2 count cover. Trouble in Paradise then knocks Dunn out of the ring, with the referee holding Kofi back from going outside. With the ref distracted, Woods does some damage to Dunn, thinking he's got away with it, but he hasn't. Kofi leaves the ring, asking Woods why he did what he just did, Woods telling Kofi to just win the match. Kofi throws Dunn back into the ring, but before Kofi re-enters, he exchanges a few more words with Woods. This allows Dunn to recover. As Kofi gets in the ring, Dunn kicks him and then hits the bitter end before covering him for the 1-2-3. Woods and Kingston continue arguing as they head up the ramp. Can we just stop the tease and split these two up, please?
No, just get on
do
with
it.
It's getting a bit boring now. You know it's coming. Just get
Yeah.
on with it. Anyway, we're in the Judgement Day Den. Yes, I do love being in the den. With Liv saying they're going to have it all, referring to her and Rodriguez winning the women's tag titles in their match later. When Finn Balor says accept the World Heavyweight Championship, blaming Dom for allowing Priest to be the next contender to Gunther's title. Dom said he had no backup, asking where Balor was. Balor said he was doing as Liv told him and that he was to focus on the tag titles. Dom responded by saying he got closer to the world title than Balor has in a long time and not to get upset that he did something Finn couldn't. Balor reacted angrily, saying to Dom, "You want to say that again, kid?" As the two squared up, the rest of Judgment Day got in between them. Balor then said, "Family, look out for one another, so why don't you and Carlito step up for me and JD next week and take on the War Raiders?" Dom said, "Okay, I'll go make it official," and walked off. Now I'm wondering if he's going to do the dirty on them and he's going to make it official for Balor and JD instead, because I could see that happening. Because the way he went off, he was like, "Okay, I'll go and do it." So I think he's got something up his sleeve.
Bronson Reed has a few words for his next as he heads out to the ring. He says Seth is a hell of a competitor, but he isn't. He is a monster and will take out anyone who stands in the way of him taking down Seth for good. He then calls out Rollins, saying he's here in the ring right now. Seth answers. After conducting the crowd, he throws his mic to one side, races down to the ring and gets in, and the two men start to fight. They end up outside the ring. Seth clears the announcer's table, but ends up on it after Reed's kicked him onto it. As Reed's about to go onto the crowd barrier, Seth launches himself at Reed, and the two end up in the timekeeper's area, but security break them apart. Seth heads to the ring. Reed fights off the security, also heading to the ring. The two men continue their brawl, but are separated again, with Seth escaping and attacking Reed from the apron. Reed pushes Seth off, bounces off the ropes and dives out of the ring at Seth and security. Seth moves though, leaving Reed to land on the backstage staff. As the two come together one last time, Adam Pearce and more backstagers head down to finally break the two superstars apart.
Back from the break, we see Seth shouting at Adam Pearce, demanding a match with Reed next week. Pearce says, "One more time, and that's enough." Seth says yes, so Pearce says, "You got it." As Pearce walks off, Sami Zayn enters the frame. He says he needs a fifth member for War Games, and the family bond never goes away, and on some level, you're still brothers, referring to, of course, their Shield days. Sami continued saying that he's looked up and down the rosters of Raw and SmackDown, and there's nobody else. We have as well. There is nobody else. Seth's their fifth man. After what seemed an age, Seth replied by saying Sami's out of his mind and that he's not going to build Reigns back up, claiming he knows better than anyone who Roman Reigns really is, and is shocked Sami would stand next to him, accusing him of being blind to Roman using him again. Seth thanked Sami, declined the invitation again, and walked off.
Damian Priest against Ludwig Kaiser next, in a match that was made earlier. Not a lot happens before the break, with Kaiser kicking Priest out of the ring. When we come back, we're back in the ring with Priest reversing a suplex attempt by Kaiser into a broken arrow. After chops, kicks and a corner splash, Priest goes for the cover but only gets a 2 count. Kaiser then escapes a razor's edge, taking Priest down with a kick and cover. Priest kicks out. A clothesline takes Kaiser down, which is followed up by a South of Heaven. Priest covers and gets the win. After the match, Gunther comes out and stands at the top of the rampway before heading back, looking more than a little concerned.
We then see a clip of Sheamus and Bron Breakker in a speed match, where neither man won as the time ran out. The two men, though, continued to brawl, eventually being broken up by backstagers. This brings us to Kathy Kelly interviewing Breakker backstage, with Breakker looking to expand his trophy cabinet, and he would have done it if it wasn't for Sheamus. Sheamus then appears, asking for a shot at Breakker's Intercontinental title. Breakker agrees to a match next week. As Sheamus walks off, Jimmy Uso appears, saying he wants to talk to Bron. We then go to a break. Now, I alluded to this earlier. Breakker Fatu from a few weeks ago. Sign me up.
Yeah. Back from the break, we see The Miz walking past the final testament. Kross asking Miz what happened. Miz says he's done and he's going to ask Adam Pearce for a leave of absence. Kross says he's not done. Where are the Wyatts? Miz says it's bigger than us and he has to think about his family. He says he's apologised to the Wyatts, changed his ways and they let him go, with both parties moving on. He also is a better man now. He tells Kross to move on, but Kross hasn't forgotten what happened to Paul Ellering and blames Miz for what happened. Kross then reminds Miz about the time he said he was going to break his legs, and then orders AOP to grab him, with them then taking him to the ring. In the ring, Kross accuses Miz of lying and asks him to tell him where the Wyatts are. Miz seems to have sustained a cut on his eyelid somehow. The lights then shut down and the six appear on the ring apron and they enter the ring. As the two factions stare off at one another, the Miz hits Rowan with a chair from behind. Uncle Howdy laughs and then all hell breaks loose as everyone engages in a battle, including Nikki Cross and Scarlett. The Final Testament win this battle though, with the Wyatt Six all down in the ring and the Miz and Kross celebrating their cunning plan. The Testament then head to the back, with Howdy laughing at them as they go, Kross looking back a little unnerved.
I think this is going to be a Survivor Series match.
Oh, it's got to be a match at some point.
It's heading that way, isn't it? Back from the break, Kathy Kelly's chasing after Seth as he's heading home and wants to know how he's going to keep Bronson Reed down next week, when he tells her to wait as he sees Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu outside. Plot twist. Solo says neither of them like Roman Reigns and suggests they join forces to take him out. Seth laughs and tells Solo the next time he's in the ring with Roman Reigns he's going to stomp his head into the ground and that never in his life will he team with Reigns again. Solo holds out his hand to shake Seth's, thinking he's got him to be the fifth man, when Seth finishes, "But I will never join forces with a wannabe Roman Reigns." Fatu steps forward, Solo holds him back. The two stare at one another, with Seth then walking off.
Last match of the night, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Back and forth to begin with until Morgan pulls Belair off the middle rope with her hair. Cargill comes around to Rodriguez, pulling her off the apron, with Morgan taking out Jade and then Belair, with Morgan leaping from the ring steps onto Belair when she came up to help Cargill. We come back from the break to see Cargill battering Morgan with a spinebuster, a splash in the corner, and then finally jading her. The cover gets broken onto by Rodriguez. Rodriguez knocks Belair off the apron and then drags Liv over to their corner, tags herself in and goes after Cargill. The two women knocking each other down with simultaneous big boots.
With both women down, Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton head out down the rampway. Jax Samoan dropping Cargill onto the apron while Stratton distracts the referee. Rodriguez drops a middle rope elbow onto Cargill and goes for the cover. Belair breaks it on too. Naomi then heads out, taking Stratton off the apron and throwing her into the barrier, with Morgan then backstabbing Naomi and tagging back in. Liv gets booted by Jade, who then tags in Belair, who proceeds to KOD Morgan and cover her for the victory. As they celebrate, Jax gets in the ring and takes them both out, with Io Sky then heading out. A mass brawl then ensues, which ends with Belair and Cargill double suplexing Jax. Raw goes off the air with Jade, Bianca, Io and Naomi all celebrating in the ring. So this has got to be the Women's Survivor Series War Games scenario.
Yeah, maybe just Survivor Series. I don't know if they'll do another War Games
but
match.
That's, yeah, I mean, it's got to be. I mean, just when you think the Bloodline feud can't get any deeper, they bring Seth and Bron Breakker into it, and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll do the Breakker Fatu thing yet.
No, but
it's been teased.
Be so good.
I think it. Yeah, definitely.
Any comments or views you'd like to share, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section below.
Thank you again for watching.
And we'll see you Saturday for SmackDown.